I need permission to record. I'm not a host.
Buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a todos. Vamos a empezar momentáneamente. Muy bien, muy buenas tardes a todos. Buenas tardes. Bienvenidos a todos. Vamos a empezar momentáneamente. Una vez más, muchas gracias. Thank you everybody for being here with us today. We're very excited about today's presentation. Tech Talks and More has certainly evolved into just a lot of wonderful opportunities. So we're waiting for our participants to come in. Muy buenas tardes a todos, muy bienvenidos. Estamos esperando que entren los participantes que van a estar aquí con nosotros. Es un gusto de conectar con ustedes en nuestra serie llamada Charlas Tecnológicas y Más. Hemos evolucionado en muchos diferentes tópicos en estas sesiones, so muy bienvenidos. My name is Teresa Reguin. I'm the Parent and Community Engagement Administrator here at Local District South, and welcome families. Me llamo Teresa Reguin. Trabajo con la unidad de padres aquí en el Distrito Local Central. Es un gusto comenzar esta sesión y muy bienvenidos. Next slide. So today we will be presenting in both English and Spanish. So please, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see the interpretation feature. You need to select the language of preference for you. You select the language that you would like to listen to this presentation. Also, just want to remind you, if you do not have the globe icon, if you download the Zoom app, you will have access to that interpretation feature on your phone. So muy buenas tardes. Hoy vamos a presentar en dos idiomas, en inglés y en español. Tendremos interpretación simultánea. Sería necesario hacer clic en el icono del globo que está en el inferior de su pantalla y van a seleccionar el idioma que usted gusta escuchar esta sesión. Si no tiene esa función, puede bajar la aplicación Zoom en su teléfono para tener esa función. Next slide. So folks, today we have a webinar session. And in our webinar session, we have a Q&A icon on the bottom of your screen. We will be taking questions throughout the presentation and making some time at the end to ask, pose some questions from the audience. So with that, our next slide. So today's session is really an important one for us. Here at Local District Central, we have amazing parents, families, and of course, also staff. Our parents today will be co-presenting with us. It is such an honor to have both our parents at Local District Central and our coaches, our PACE coaches, working collaboratively to put on this presentation. So I'd like to introduce, as part of our Title I Family Empowerment Series, Mrs. Maria Daisy Ortiz. She is a parent from Benjamin Franklin High School in the Eagle Rock Highland Park Community of Schools, and it's an honor for me to introduce her today. Mrs. Ortiz, welcome. I know you have a few words.
Gracias, señora Reguín. Es un placer saludarles a todos. Yo también estoy muy emocionada y quiero darles la cordial bienvenida y estoy aquí para servirles. Gracias.
Thank you, Ms. Ortiz. Always amazing. Thank you. We also have Mr. Alex Campbell. He is our LAUSD parent for Local District Central. He's our PACE coach. He serves the historic Central Avenue Community Schools and South Los Angeles Community Schools, and he is one of the leads for our Title I initiatives. Mr. Campbell, welcome.
Thank you very much, Ms. Argine. I'd like to say thank you, parents, and allowing for me to be here today. But I'd like to let you know that I'm also today wearing my parent hat. I'm a proud parent of two children within Allen Unified. So I'd like to share my experience from that perspective with today's presentation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. We also have another incredible leader, Mrs. Rocio Elorza. She is part of the Thomas Starr King Magnet School in Local District Central, and she is a part of the Glassell Park Los Feliz community of schools. Ms. Elorza, thank you for your leadership. I know you want to say a few words. Ms. Elorza, take it away.
Oh, gracias, señora Reguín. Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por estar aquí. Soy, como dijo la señora Reguín, representante de la escuela Thomas Starr Kingfield y mi comunidad de escuelas es Glassell Park. Y gracias por todo y vamos a aprender juntos. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Ms. Elorza. And before we go to the next slide, I know we have folks behind the scenes, so thank you to our other coaches that are here with us. And I also want to introduce Ms. Vilma Molson, who is also co-leading this effort with our families. I don't know if she's coming on camera today, but thank you, Ms. Monson, behind the scenes for making all of this happen. So thank you, families. Thank you, Ms. Monson. And it's a pleasure to be a part of today's session.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Arreguin, for that introduction and for our parents for being here and supporting this event. Today's session, we have got together for you. I think it's going to be a wonderful presentation. It is a wonderful presentation. Our parents have important information to share with you. So our objectives today are the following. We hope that you are with us here so you can familiarize yourselves with the concepts of qualitative data and quantitative data. That'll be just a little bit of information, but we want to be here for this exploration of the elementary and secondary report card. Very important information that you have with you, that you can look at, that you can explore, and that gives you the idea of where your child is in his or her progress. So we want to explore that with you today. We also will get some advice from our parents as to what to do, what resources, where to get those answers when you have a concern about what you see in that report card, or just any general information about the report card. Additionally, we will provide some resources for you so that you can support your children at home and to empower yourself with information so that we can do this work together to ensure that our children are making progress, that they are meeting those standards, that they are making the best progress possible to ensure that their success. We will also have, as Ms. Arreguin said, a series of questions and answers so that you can ask those questions in the chat, please. We will address them today, and also we'll have some announcements about upcoming events. So we are so thankful that you're here. Thank you so much. This is an afternoon of learning. So thank you for being here. But before we get started with the main part of our presentation, just a little inclusion about data sources, right? We hear about data sources. Well, you are familiar with some data sources that tell you information about your child. What are those data sources? We invite you to, in the chat, write the number of those data sources that you are familiar with, right? You might be familiar with number one, the report card for our secondary students, or the report card number two for elementary students, right? Maybe you are familiar with the reading inventory. Maybe you have received a report, right, regarding the reading inventory. Again, these are data sources that you might be familiar with. What are those data sources that you are familiar with? Please put the number in the chat. Again, DIBELS, right? We hear about DIBELS a lot, especially in elementary, I will say. So maybe you're familiar with that report. What about an LPAC report? Or the Smarter Balance report, the one that gives you information about your child's results in the SBAC, right? We haven't had SBAC in the past couple of years just because of the pandemic, but we are again, right, starting over and continuing to take that SBAC this year. What about the school experience survey? Are you familiar with that data source? A lot of information that we can gather, right, every year about your experience, your child's experience, the staff's experience with our schools. So are you familiar with that data source? What about Renaissance? Again, this is a platform that you might be familiar with that the students use at school and gives you information about their progress, not just in math, but also in English. Parent Portal, a wonderful source of information. Are you familiar with that? Right? Let me know. What about Schoology, right? It's not just for students, right? But are you familiar with Schoology also for parents and the California dashboard? So again, can you please place in the chat which of these data sources you might be familiar with, that you have looked at the information as it corresponds to your child? And if Mr. Campbell can tell me if he sees any of that information, I would appreciate it.
Well, Ms. Monson, so far, we don't have any numbers in the chat, but I would like to say I'm very familiar with number 10, Parent Portal. I use it quite frequently.
Thank you, Alex, right? That is a very important source of information, right? So we invite parents, definitely we invite you to familiarize more, right? Yourselves a little bit more with some of these data sources. Remember, each one of them gives you information about your child, right? You can check their progress, monitor their progress. Questions might come up about these data sources. Who do you turn to? The school. The school can help you, right? Determine what kind of information it is that you're seeking, and they can make it show you what that might be. I believe maybe that the chat is not active, so if someone can activate the chat so that our participants can respond in the chat. I think that that's what the problem is, as one of them has said. Please check it out.
We have actually the respondents that we do have are saying that they're familiar with source number 11, the Schoology, as well as number 5, the LPAC.
Yes, LPAC, right, related to English learners. It gives
Correct.
us reports about English learners' progress. Thank you very much for that. So let's continue, and thank you for your responses. And I believe we're going to activate the chat in a minute. So additionally then, we want to share with you some information about these key terms: qualitative data, quantitative data. You might have heard about them. What is this about? Data, we know, is information, right? And that information or data can come to us either in a qualitative way or quantitative format, right? What does that mean? And it is important to know these terms because as you will hear from our presenters, our children's progress is not just measured by numbers, right? What assessments and how they do in the assessments, but there are other components to their learning that affects or makes them progress, and that is the qualitative aspect. And you will hear about that, but just a couple of examples about qualitative and quantitative. So for example, right, if you go to a grocery store and you say, yeah, this grocery store has good options in general, I like it, I see great things here. Now, what are you doing? You're giving us your opinion, what your experience has been. That's very personal, right? That is what we call qualitative data, information that gives us your perceptions, right? Your experiences. Whereas a quantitative format or type of information is that gives us very exact information in numbers. For example, in this particular set of stores in an urban area, for example, the average wait time is 2.8 minutes. So again, quantitative data is tied to very specific numerical values, right? So you will see in the report cards which areas of the report card is tied to that numbers, right? And which one, because it is part of our growing and our learning, that qualitative data, those aspects that our presenters will show that to you. Another example could be, for example, the qualities of the store. So this is your perception, your experience, right? That is qualitative, what you think, your personal observations and experiences, we call qualitative, right? Whereas where we have an exact number, right? The respondents of a survey, right, said that this grocery store has 3.5 out of 5 stars. That's very specific, right? That information comes to us in a quantitative or numerical values. So again, we will discuss this as part of the report card. So we just want you to be familiar with those two key terms. But something very important to know, right, is that numbers are just numbers, right? And we have to be very careful when we interpret our quantitative or numerical data. We want to make sure that we are mindful of our assumptions and our biases when we look at a number, right? Because there is a story behind that number. The number doesn't tell us why. This is very important. So my child got a 3. Okay, that's a 3, but there is a story behind that, right? So we have to learn about the variables, the reasons behind those numbers, right? Before we make a statement of fact, right, about that. So again, we invite you to continue with us and to listen to our parents, the information they have about the specific topic for today, which is the report cards, the elementary and secondary level report cards. And for that, we have first Mr. Alex Campbell, who will guide us in the interpretation of an elementary report card. Alex?
Thank you very much, Ms. Monson. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start looking at the elementary report card. And this is going to be quantitative data, as we see by the star. That means this is going to be number based. So this is the top of our elementary report card. It has information that tells us your child's name, your child's student ID, the date of birth, your child's language classification, as well as their room number, teacher name, and grade. What is important to also know about the top of the report card is it tells you the reporting period that you're in. Currently, this report card is going over the first reporting period. Parents, be on the lookout for the next report card, which will be ending, I believe, in the beginning of March, and that second report period will be ending, and then you'll be receiving another report card that will be going over the second reporting period. So now we're going to go into what the report card looks like. So as you see that the report card, there are areas for the academic areas right here on the left. There are the content standards in the middle, and then there are the reporting periods on the right. So in the academic areas, these are the areas that the academic areas where your child is measured. And it goes over, your child is measured in English language arts, mathematics, mathematical practice, science, history,
voiceover on
visual and performing arts, physical education, and health. Now, if you look at in the middle, these are the standards at which your child is evaluated on. At the top in English, your child is evaluated on formal reading skills. At the top in mathematics content, your child is evaluated on operations and algebraic thinking. Under mathematical practice, your child is evaluated on problem solving and precision. Now, when your child's teacher does this evaluation, she comes up with, or he comes up with a score for your child. This score is based on the many different activities that your child does in that content area. These activities might be school projects, they might be homework, they might be tests that your child has taken. And that allows your child's teacher to come up with a score. And you see the scores right here to the right underneath the reporting period. But before I explain and show you this, I want to tell you at the bottom, we have the key that lets you know what each score means. A 4 means it exceeds grade level standards. A 3 means meets grade level standards. A 2 means performing towards meeting grade level standards. A 1 is minimal progress towards grade level standards. An A means not assessed in the current reporting period. So now the current reporting period that this report card is going over is the first reporting period, right here. So as we see, the student has gotten 3s in different areas. And we also see that right here, measurement and data right here says NA. So what that lets us know is if we go down to our key, that was not assessed during this reporting period. So this standard was not covered during this reporting period. So now what I would like to do is to let you know that this is one part of the report card. But we're going to go on to the next slide. And I'm going to explain to you, like, as Ms. Monson has told us, like, numbers are only tell part of the story when it comes to our children. We know as parents that academics aren't the whole child, that what we have to also look at are how is our child doing emotionally? How is our child doing socially when they're at school? So I'm going to let you know that there is a part of the report card that does look at this. So I'm going to hand off to Ms. Orlorza, and she's going to explain this part of the report card for you. Ms. Orlorza?
Sí, gracias, Alex. Sí, como me estaba diciendo mi compañero, eso es parte de la historia. Ahora, la otra parte de la historia son características y conducta de un estudiante preparado para la universidad y listo para una carrera. Esta parte de abajo de su boleta pueden ver que esto se califica con letras. La C significa consistentemente, la S algunas veces, la R rara vez. Eso es lo que se califica. Se comunica y colabora eficazmente. Se comunica claramente a través del habla y la escritura, trabaja productivamente en grupos de colaboración, escucha, interpreta y utiliza información proporcionada para otros en una variedad de configuraciones. Eso quiere decir que él se expresa bien. Esas son sus cualidades cualitativas. Él trabaja bien con sus compañeros. Eso puede estar en una sociedad y poder conectar con todos. Entiende otras perspectivas, demuestra respeto y reconoce las opiniones y sentimientos de los demás. Resuelve los problemas de diferentes maneras después de considerar múltiples perspectivas. Esto nos lleva a que esta es una parte civil. Es respetuoso y eso es muy importante también. Piensa críticamente, soluciona problemas con creatividad y valora la evidencia. Aplica conocimiento y experiencias para resolver problemas. Evalúa las respuestas, explica el razonamiento y hace los ajustes apropiados al pensamiento. Genera ideas nuevas y creativas. Venimos hablando de lo mismo, puede trabajar en equipos, da ideas, él piensa antes las cosas antes de hacerlas. Dice, actúa de manera responsable, éticamente y es un ciudadano productivo. Trabaja independientemente y pide ayuda cuando es necesario. Sigue las reglas de la escuela y del salón. Respeta los derechos y las propiedades de la escuela y de otros. Organiza el lugar de trabajo y los materiales. Hace un uso productivo del tiempo en clase y permanece concentrado en la tarea. Estas son unas cualidades también muy, muy importantes. El trabajar independientemente también es parte de lo que tenemos que hacer para ser unos ciudadanos productivos, como nos mencionaron. Utiliza estratégicamente y hábilmente a la tecnología y los medios digitales. Presenta información eficazmente en una variedad de formatos. Utiliza eficazmente la tecnología apropiada cuando comunica ideas y crea producciones. Se adhiere a las reglas que se encuentran en la política del distrito de uso aceptable. Que ellos saben más de tecnología que nosotros, pero saben usarla responsablemente dentro de la escuela. Con todo esto, esto es muy importante porque impacta en su progreso académico. Desde la primaria hasta la universidad y los ayuda a ser unos adultos productivos, respetuosos y con muchos valores que también los podemos inculcar en nuestro hogar. Gracias.
Bueno, yo creo que ya mi compañera, ¿verdad? Ya dio la primera parte, que es la escuela elemental. A mí me va a tocar cómo podemos leer los datos de la escuela secundaria. Por favor, a todos los padres que tienen niños en middle y high school, ojalá que tengan una boleta a su mano para que me puedan seguir y podamos juntas aprender. Voy a poner 2 preguntas que quisiera su colaboración para nutrir nuestro aprendizaje, que la contesten y vamos a canalizar todas las preguntas, ¿verdad? Una es cuántos créditos tiene cada materia, si ustedes saben, y si no saben, no importa, ¿verdad? Pero si saben, pónganlo. Y si saben cuántos créditos se necesitan para graduarse de la high school. ¿Ok? Entonces vamos a empezar a examinar esta boleta. Vamos a empezar con la parte de arriba. En la parte de arriba, el primer cuadrito es el nombre de la escuela. Tenemos que saber cuál es el nombre de la escuela y dónde está ubicada, ¿verdad? De ahí vamos a seguir al siguiente, como ustedes ven, ahí nos está indicando con la flechita el código de la escuela, porque son muchas escuelas. Pues ese es un código que muchas veces los administradores lo usan mucho, ¿verdad? El nombre del director. ¿Por qué es importante saber cuál es el nombre del director? Pues claro, él es el que le cae la mayor responsabilidad. Y por supuesto, ahí está el número de teléfono para nosotros poderle hablar a la oficina. Si yo no sé qué tengo que hacer para saber lo de la asistencia, llamo a la escuela y pregunto, ¿me puede pasar con la coordinadora de asistencia? Y ahí la personal amablemente la pasa con la asistencia. Seguimos al siguiente cuadrito. Vamos a ver que el año en que estamos cursando, que es el 2022, ¿verdad? Que está en proceso el curso. El otro cuadrito es el nombre del estudiante, el ID, por supuesto el grado que tiene y la fecha del estudiante, pero lo más importante aquí también es el nombre del consejero. Es importante que nosotros sepamos cuál es el nombre del consejero de nuestros niños, porque la mayoría de las escuelas middle y high school empiezan en 6 grados, ese mismo consejero va a terminar en 8º grado. Igual cuando entran a high school, empiezan en 9 y también hasta que terminen 12 grados, para ir conociendo todo lo que su niño necesita. De ahí vamos a bajar a donde están los periodos, ¿verdad? Ustedes saben, cada clase es un periodo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ¿ok? Cada periodo es una clase que tienen nuestros estudiantes. Y la última se conoce como homeroom o advisory. A veces la tienen al principio, a veces también a mediados del periodo de clase o al final. De ahí seguimos. Aquí quiero que ustedes aprendamos, ¿verdad? Que es importante saber que cada maestro que da una materia, ¿cuál es el nombre de ese maestro? Y así como yo, que con miedito y así dando pasitos, a veces me he metido a la Schoology y ahí voy perdiendo el miedo y ahí está hasta el correo electrónico. ¿Para qué? Para que lo podamos comunicar con el maestro, mandarle a decir, señor maestro, miro que mi hijo tiene problemas en cómo hacer la álgebra, cómo le podemos apoyar o cómo él está trabajando. Cualquiera, hasta decirle que tenga un fabuloso día, porque ahorita necesitamos de todos que nos demos apapachos, ¿verdad? Entonces, es bien importante. De ahí, como le volví a decir, viene el código. Aquí es bien importante, cada periodo se pasa lista. Si su niño no está llegando, ahí puede poner que es una ausencia o que llegó tarde. ¿Ok? Entonces es muy importante, si llegó tarde, le van a poner un 1, puede tener 2 llegadas tardes, 3 llegadas tardes o 3 ausencias, lo que marque allí el número. Eso es lo que significa y es muy importante, porque no está llegando a tiempo, pues le está afectando. La instrucción corre. El siguiente cuadrito que estamos allí son los grados. En la middle school y high school se califica ya no con números, como mostró la compañera, sino con letras. Y aquí vamos a ver el cuadro que nos dice en lo académico. En lo académico, que es el primer cuadrito, está la A, la B, la C, la D, la F La P, la NP y hay otros cuadritos ahí. De la A hasta la D, cada materia tiene 5 créditos. Cada materia. ¿Por qué? Porque esos créditos se acumulan. Son 6 clases. Si todas las clases sacó A o B, C y no menos de D, tiene 5 créditos. Y miren también, el advisory, aquí como estamos viendo, también da 2.5. A veces, por 2 puntos, el niño no tiene un GPA bastante alto. Así que es bien importante también saber que hay que llegar a esa clase de homeroom, a esa clase de advisory, porque también agarran 2.5. Ya si saca F o que no estén poniendo eso, pues no se preocupe. Hable a la escuela, escriba un correo, háblele a su consejero, como sea, es la manera de empezar a conectarnos. Siguiendo con el último punto, es aquí están los comentarios que hacen los maestros. Pero quiero resaltar algo que se me brinqué aquí, no quiero que se quede desapercibido, que además de los datos cuantitativos, también están los datos cualitativos. Y aquí está remarcado también la boleta, los hábitos de trabajo y cooperación. Abajo está cómo se lee. La E significa excelente. La S es satisfactorio y la U insatisfactorio. O sea que pues está teniendo ahí o que no está incompleto. Cuando hay un slide puede ser que el maestro se enfermó o cambió de posición y no se completó. No se preocupen. No es que se está pasando algo raro. No. Todo aquí está explicado, ¿verdad? Y entonces ustedes se van allí. Porque estos dos datos son parte fundamental, los dos trabajan juntos para tener progreso escolar. Vamos a la última parte, oyeron los créditos, ¿verdad? Aquí este estudiante tiene 32.5 porque pasó las 6 clases y le dieron 2.5 por homeroom. Y su GPA acumulado en ese semestre está de 3.5. Entre más tiene GPA más alto, más oportunidad tiene de entrar a un colegio, de entrar a una universidad, porque nuestros niños salen a competir con otros niños, no solo con los niños de la escuela. Y por supuesto, aquí hay otros mensajes, como digamos, muy importante que visitemos el portal de padre y que no perdamos, no nos estresemos, ni estresemos al niño. ¿Ok? Y para profundizar más apoyos, voy a pasar a la señora Monse.
So we are going to continue.
you.
I believe Alex is our next person in line. Alex, can you guide us through the next section, please?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Ortiz, and thank you, Ms. Monson. So now, parents, we have given you a lot of information in regards to an elementary report card as well as a secondary report card. So now what I would like you to do is take a few minutes and to, if you have the opportunity to have your child's report card with you, take a look at it. And I want you to think, when you've reviewed your child's report card, what might be some areas of concern that you have? And then how would you go about to address these concerns of your child and how they're progressing in their class? So just take a moment to think about that. Keep that in mind. Okay, so now that we thought about that, we're gonna move forward and we're gonna share with you different types of plan of action, as in how we can address any concerns that we might have as parents in regards to our child's progress after reviewing the report card. So now I'm gonna hand it back to Ms. Ortiz.
Gracias, señor Alex. Sí, bueno, como les Les dije anteriormente, no nos estresemos, ni mucho menos pongamos nervioso al niño, sino que hay que calmarnos, tomar esos minutos, respirar y pues si tenemos a nuestro esposo, pues empezar a hablar primeramente con nuestro estudiante. Ya nuestros estudiantes que tienen de 10 años para arriba, nosotros podemos preguntarle, mijo, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Qué es lo que necesita? ¿Cómo te sientes? Ellos nos pueden indicar cosas bastante importantes que nosotros podemos escribir para cuando vayamos a hacer el próximo paso y para eso aquí tenemos al señor Alex.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ortiz. Now, myself as a parent, and after I look at my child's report cards, I might, like was suggested, might have concerns. And so I just want to point out to parents that some areas that you can go to, in addition to talking to your child, like Ms. Ortiz suggested, were some of the district websites. For example, Parent Portal, where you can get information and on your child. And it told us in the secondary report card, you can actually pull up a copy of your child's report card in the Parent Portal. Or you can go to Schoology if you want to see the exact type of assignments that your child has. Or maybe this might tell you what your child might be missing and could give you a little bit of clues as in how your child was able to get the scores or grades that she or he got. As well as you can message your child's teacher in Schoology. Maybe that you're unable to go up and visit with your child, but you still want to communicate with them. This is definitely something that you can do through Schoology. I'm now going to hand it off to Ms. Elorza to also share with us the different plans of action that you can do if you have concerns.
Sí, bueno, gracias, señor Alex. Ya que hablamos entonces con las partes interesadas, se podría decir que es nuestros estudiantes. Ahora tenemos, ya que hablamos también, nos metimos a Schoology, hablamos con la maestra. Entonces, podemos reunirnos para hacer un plan de acción para mejorar el nivel académico de los estudiantes, porque quiero que sepan, padres, no hay estudiante con problemas, que dé problemas, sino con problemas. Por eso nos tenemos que fijar en todos estos factores, como dijo mi compañera Daisy. Primero hablar con ellos, porque muchas cosas pueden influir en su cabeza. Y entonces, así nosotros nos damos una idea qué es lo que está fallando para poder hablar tener una plática con los maestros, con la escuela efectiva. Porque no vamos a ir nada más a decir, oh, mi hijo sacó esto, ¿por qué? No, tenemos que ser pacientes y hablar claramente, ya que tenemos la idea de qué es lo que pasa, hablar claramente con los maestros, con la escuela, los niños, porque todos tenemos un bien común como aquí, que es el éxito académico de nuestros estudiantes. Gracias.
So I believe we're going to have Ms. Ortiz begin.
Sí, bueno, ¿cómo nos podemos buscar recursos o también equipar nosotros, verdad? Prepararnos. Yo le voy a hablar de los recursos comunitarios. Están los recursos, porque pues en la escuela también hay recursos, ¿verdad? Pero en la comunidad, en los colegios comunitarios ofrecen talleres para ayudar a los padres cómo ser más efectivos en la educación y también ofrece cómo poder que sus niños agarren materia para que su GPA vaya subiendo. Entonces, ese es un recurso muy importante, saber cuándo puedo yo ir a una capacitación que es para los padres. Y hay muchas maneras. Puedo meterme a la página de cada colegio. Aquí tenemos el ACC, el ATTC, y pues el colegio que esté más cerca de tu comunidad, porque en el distrito es grandísimo, ¿verdad? Pero también la biblioteca. A mí la biblioteca, yo pertenezco a la área de Highland Park, y la biblioteca para mí es una un lugar donde se puede adquirir muchas maneras de talleres y capacitaciones, como digamos Arroyo Seco, que es la biblioteca de Highland Park, ofrece clases para ayudar, apoyo, no clases, apoyo de lunes a jueves de 2:30 a 5:30 para los estudiantes, tanto para imprimir algún proyecto que vayan a hacer, como ayuda con la tarea y también el uso de computadora, porque acuérdense que ahora todo se sube por computadora. Y también hay eventos por Zoom para llenar de cultura a nuestros niños y de aprendizaje y la familia. Eventos como música de clase armenia, es un performance sobre la música de esta cultura, que es muy importante aprender. Y pues hay varios también, está el otro Zoom. Cada mes hay diferentes actividades. Les invito que ustedes tienen tarjeta de la biblioteca. Esa es la que tienen que usar para cuando ustedes hacen la reservación. No es que van a llegar y allí le van a dar. Ustedes hacen reservación por la línea y ya lo van a recoger, ya sea un libro, un video o una computadora, o si van a imprimir. ¿Ok? Esos son los servicios y apoyos comunitarios. Pero también tenemos a la señora Elorza.
Sí, gracias, señora Daisy. Es muy importante también tener el portal de padres, porque ahí podemos ver toda la información de nuestros hijos, sus grados, lo que necesita, hay calificaciones, asistencia, todo. Primero, ese es otro recurso muy importante que nos da el distrito y muy eficaz. También es muy importante que usted asista a talleres y conferencias que nos ofrecen en las escuelas, en nuestros distritos locales, así como aquí el Distrito Local Central, que nos ofrece cantidad de temas en las charlas tecnológicas. Es un recurso muy bueno que tenemos en nuestro distrito. Otro recurso es PCS, que es Parent Community Service, que brindan también muchos talleres, muchas capacitaciones. Por ejemplo, ahorita estamos teniendo uno de liderazgo, que es muy, muy bueno. O nos ofrecen de matemáticas. También ese es otro recurso que tenemos al alcance de nuestras manos y yo los invito de verdad a que participen tanto en nuestro distrito local central como en las reuniones de PCS, que es a nivel general de todo LUSD. Y los invito de verdad porque se aprenden tantas cosas. Bueno, a mí me entusiasma aprender y con todo lo que aprendo puedo ayudar a mis hijos y puedo ayudar a otros padres. Y eso es muy, muy importante y pienso que debemos de ser, más en estos tiempos tan difíciles, poder hablar con otros padres, apoyarlos uno a uno, padre con padre, y les reitero la invitación, que hay infinidad de cosas que podemos aprender. Gracias. Alex.
Thank you very much, Ms. Elorza. Parents, I would like to also point you, when we're talking about resources, to the different types of resources we offer here in local District Central, as well as other local districts within LA Unified. I would like to remind all parents that if you have questions, please visit your child's school, their webpage. The school webpage offers a lot of information for parents, activities that the school is hosting, events that are going on, as well as any projects that might be happening, their school calendars on the school website. So I would implore you to please take some time and visit your child's school website. In addition to that, I am a parent educator coach for SOLA and the Historic Central Avenue Community of Schools. And I know we put a great deal of information for our parents on our web pages. So I invite you to please visit your Community of Schools webpage. If you don't know it, please ask at your school, what community of school do I belong to? And please visit their web pages. We are constantly putting up resources for different types of events that are going on, different registration opportunities that are happening, different types of giveaways that are occurring, different information on how you can work with your child or what your child's school might be offering. So please visit your child's school webpage as well as our community of school webpage. I now want to turn your attention to different activities, learning apps that are accessible specifically for elementary, but I know they're learning apps accessible for middle and high school. These are learning apps. We have Schoology, we have BrainPop Junior, and IXL. BrainPop Junior, and IXL can be found. There are different learning apps that can be found in the Schoology platform. Although that these learning apps are for our children, I can tell you, me as a parent, I have helped my child and I've used each one of them. The one that I like, I do like all of them, but I'm the one that I'm currently using a lot right now for both my kids is IXL. Personally, I had a conversation after reviewing my child's report card with my child's teacher and about areas that he was struggling in when it came to math. IXL does language arts and math, but for me, the support that my child needed was in math. And so this actually helped me. I actually went to IXL and I saw different areas, different standards that are given examples and again that allow your child to be addressed. And what I did is I reviewed those questions and examples so it better helped me understand what my child was struggling in. And then I had the conversation like Ms. Elorza talked about with my child about what he finds difficult. So I use this learning app IXL to then have him work on different activities in the area that he was struggling in. So I highly recommend it. Please, if you have an opportunity, look inside Schoology. It is once you're inside your child's Schoology a landing page, the apps are on the left-hand side. Now, at this time, we'd like to now turn it over. We're going to move on to our next page. And I know Ms. Ortiz spoke about the libraries. I'm now about to hand it back off to her. Ms. Ortiz, please take it away.
Gracias, señor Alex. Bueno, primeramente quiero decirles, ¿verdad?, de que agradecerles a cada uno de ustedes el estar aquí acompañándonos en esta capacitación. Ustedes han hecho que esta capacitación sea un éxito con su presencia. Ahora se van a llevar una tarea. Por favor, si usted aprendió algo nuevo, compártalo. Compártalo con el vecino, con su comadre, con su hermana, con su suegra, con todo mundo, porque así hacemos esa red de apoyo. Porque para mí, los sueños, el aprendizaje y los sueños de nuestros hijos, el cielo es el límite. Y como dice aquí esta frase, mira, ahí estás viendo esa muchacha. Eso es lo que nosotros hacemos con nuestros hijos, que vayan dando un pasito a la vez, pero seguro y con una meta fija. Un padre capacitado y equipado es un mejor abogado y es un mejor aliado de la escuela, del maestro, del distrito, de la comunidad y de otro padre. Gracias. Con ustedes, la señora Monzo.
Bueno, muchas gracias, ¿verdad? A nuestros padres. Thank you so much to our parents who presented and brought us this wonderful information. I am moved, right? I feel that we have learned so much from a perspective of a parent. These are our actual LAUSD parents who are in tune, right? Who take the time and have looked at how they can better support their children. And likewise, right? Remember, we are here to empower ourselves, to empower you with information. And but you have to take that step, right? You have to, if you see something that you have a question about, a concern about, it is important that you contact us, right? You contact the school. And what I do like is this collaboration with our parents and among yourselves, right? You can come together also at your school sites to support your children. What opportunities might there be at your school site where you can come together and and advocate for your child. So that is the purpose of this presentation. This is the Title I series, Empowering Our Families, and we want you to feel empowered with information. And we don't know everything, right? There are so many different perspectives, but we do welcome your expertise as parents, as we did here today. And I want to invite you to think about being part of this process. We have a couple more presentations coming up in our series, and we are looking for parents like you who are here with us. If you want to be part of our planning committee, if you want to share information with other parents, we welcome you to contact us, right? To contact me, and we will definitely would love to have you on board. So this is not the last time you'll see parents with us. That's where we want to continue in encouraging our parents. And I know that Senora Lorza and Senora Daisy, this is not what they do every day, right? But they are so interested in sharing their learning that we so much appreciate it. And obviously Alex is our resident expert in elementary, that right now has a child, right, a couple of children actually, at our LAUSD schools. Of course, I know that Cyrene is also an expert in elementary. She's also one of our community PACE, I should say, parent educators. So parents, if you have any questions, if there are any questions in the chat or in the Q&A that we would want to address, this is the time to ask them. If you want us to review a certain section, something maybe that wasn't that clear, we still have a few minutes, right? So if there's anything that you might want us to address again or to clarify for you, please feel free to answer that, ask us that information. Do we see anything in the chat or in the Q&A?
Ms. Monton, yes, we have a question that is IXL offered in Spanish? And so I found out that yes, that IXL can be translated in Spanish within the settings, that you can change the language.
Okay, that's wonderful information. I did not know the answer. So as I said, Alex is our resident expert in some of this, because he right now, right, he is supporting his children. He and them are going together through elementary at this point, soon middle school. Thank you, Alex, for that. So IXL does can be, right, accessed in Spanish too. That's wonderful information.
And that question was in reference to a parent who wants to help his child with homework, specifically in mathematics. And since
Wonderful.
Mr. Alex was talking about IXL, then I inquired about it being in Spanish. So that's something the parent can use, right, to help her son with math, right,
Exactly.
for homework.
Exactly.
Yes, that is correct. That is exactly how it can be done. You can find specific examples of what your child is already working on within IXL. And then there are other options or opportunities for them to practice with this. And then because it's on the format of a website and on the format of how students will eventually be tested, if tested is the standardized testing, is the familiarity with a computer and doing their answers that way. It is a great tool for parents. I definitely highly recommend it, and it's offered through Schoology.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. But some of you might say, but I don't know what to focus on, right? What of math or should I focus on? Remember, the person you go to for that kind of support would be your child's teacher, right? They know exactly which of those standards or which sections, right, of those standards they need support, and they can guide you to that. So again, this is, we are definitely encouraging you to communicate with your child's teacher and school staff for support if you need it, please. Right? That's something that we definitely want to encourage each one of you to do.
Ms. Monson,
yes, sir.
On that, I can also tell you, like, the way IXL works is, yes, talk to your child's teacher to find out the support or the area that they need help in. But in addition to that, your child's teacher can identify specific different activities that your child can do in IXL to support the area of their need. So in addition to you, instead of you just looking for everything, your child's teacher can help you pinpoint the different activities that after they reviewed it and said, oh, I would like you to work on these activities, these three activities, and they can star it or highlight it. It's very, very friendly for parents to lower any anxiety that they may have as going over all these different options in the website.
Thank you so much, Alex. I see a question or a comment by a parent, and this is very important, especially for our English language learners, right? They are learning English. That is the focus of the program, right? But and parents wonder, can I help my child if I don't speak English, or my English skills are not there yet? I would say definitely. Primary language, whether it be Spanish or other primary language, right? Korean or Armenian, your home language is rich. You are able to ensure that your child makes progress in thinking and discussing and talking in your own language. So yes, you can help your child in your own language. That is okay, right? Some parents feel that because the instruction might be in English, they cannot support their child. We want to encourage your parent to use your primary language to read to them in your primary language, right? That supports your child's learning too, right? So again, it is not so much about the language, but about the process, how you process the information, right? The questions you ask, that helps our child process information, right? And that we want to encourage you in that you can support your child in your own language, of course. Yes, we encourage you to do that. That should not be a barrier. So please do so.
Quisiera agregar, Ms. Monzón, disculpe que la interrumpí, pensé que habíamos terminado su oración, perdón. Pero quería agregar y reiterar, ¿verdad?, la importancia de que los padres son el primer modelo en casa. So, no importa si es en su idioma natal, porque todas esas destrezas de escuchar cómo que usted sea el modelo de leer, ya sea que en su idioma natal o pueden aprender juntos, pero sigue siendo el primer modelo de la enseñanza. Entonces, el valor de cada idioma y lo que trae al hogar cada familia es esencial para el aprendizaje en general. Y sé que la señora Ortiz quiere agregar algo también. Señora Ortiz.
Muchísimas gracias, señora Reguín. Sí, ustedes saben que en la biblioteca hay libros que vienen las historias en español e inglés. Y eso es una buena herramienta de que ustedes leen la historia en español y el niño la lee en inglés. De esa manera ustedes pueden ver cómo su niño está leyendo y pueden ver en qué áreas él está fallando. Porque para el 2030 es una iniciativa del Estado que todas las agencias educativas se hable un segundo idioma. Porque ser bilingüe es una gran oportunidad. Entonces nosotros de esa manera vamos a ayudar que nuestros niños sean bilingües o trilingües. ¿Por qué no? Entre más idiomas hable, entre más pequeño esté el niño y tenga acceso a varios idiomas, se le abren la oportunidad para entrar a un colegio, para ganar más dinero en un trabajo. Entonces tenemos que nosotros utilizar esto que traemos por herencia, nuestro lenguaje.
Exacto. Gracias, señora Daisy. So we want to, there is another comment that we want to address, or a concern, and it's about technology, right? We're asking you parents to go into Schoology, to go into Parent Portal, and you're telling us, well, I don't know yet, right? I don't know how to. And that's okay, right? This is a learning process. And we want you, as Ms. Ramos has reached out to us, we will reach out to you because we do have trainings, right? Workshops to support you parents in learning how to go into the Parent Portal, how to go into Schoology. You will see once you get started, and I'm gonna ask Senora Daisy to speak to that because she was telling us, right, of how she has lost the fear of going into these platforms because she knows how useful they are. Senora Daisy, can you tell us more about going into Parent Portal and Schoology?
Sí, ok. En realidad, como les digo, la tecnología no es algo que lo domino muy bien, pero gracias a Dios me he preparado Y entonces, pues sí, yo visito la Schoology y las herramientas que tiene Schoology es que tú te puedes comunicar primeramente directamente con el maestro, y los maestros usan estas plataformas, el iExcel, es una manera que ellos hacen la tarea. Tú te puedes ver allí cómo tus hijos en qué fallaron en la tarea o si entregaron la tarea y cómo reforzar el aprendizaje. Entonces, lo único que tienes que hacer es crear tu cuenta. Puedes entrar por dos formas. Creando tu cuenta del portal de padres. Ok, para eso lo único que tienes que tener es un correo electrónico. Pero creo que el equipo de PACE y el personal de la escuela está preparado para asistir a cualquier padre que llame. Yo les digo siempre con la manera antigüita, llame. Porque esa es la manera que muchas veces muchos padres dicen, pues me mandan a la página web y yo ni sé meterme, pues es como que me digan, vaya a China y vaya a comprar algo, no voy a entender. Entonces yo les hablo como yo también aprendí y como yo también luché. Llamé, la señora Monzo estuvo como 2 horas enseñándome a hacer mi portal de padres. No me da pena, me dio que ella tuvo la paciencia y me enseñó, y ya después poquito a poquito. Entonces con el portal de padres ustedes se meten a Schoology, ¿ok? O si no, los estudiantes. Yo siempre uso por la parte del estudiante, porque dicen para usar 2 cosas. Ver cómo está mi hija, y si le dice a su hijo, no, es que yo no sé, le está mintiendo. Eso lo usan todos los días sus estudiantes, el Schoology. Entonces se puede meter también por la cuenta de su hijo y ya se va a la de padre y ahí le sale todo. Si entregó tareas, si lo entregó tarde, si no lo entregó, en qué falló, cómo los maestros pueden apoyarlo, cómo recuperar los créditos, subir esa materia. Es muy bueno, es muy bueno. Y como les digo, nunca tengan miedo, nunca pierdan la calma, nunca también pierdan la fe. Tranquilícese porque ustedes están modelando para sus hijos. Sus hijos, cuando ustedes dicen yo no puedo, eso dicen sus hijos también cuando dicen la matemática yo no puedo. Ustedes no pueden sembrar esa palabra en la mente de nuestros hijos. No puedo ahora, pero aprenderé. No lo sé ahora, pero alguien me va a enseñar. Y nunca limitarnos a aprender una palabra, una nueva manera de cómo enseñarnos y ir haciendo ese aprendizaje como parte de nuestra vida, porque cada día aprendemos. Gracias, señora Monson.
Bueno, thank you so much, Ms. Daisy. We so much, again, I really appreciate you and Señora Lorza and Alex presenting parents of LAUSD students and giving us all this wonderful information, important information, crucial information. It's already 4:30 and more than, and I know that we have our interpreter waiting for us. Thank you. But so we are going to end this presentation at this time. But before we do, we just want to have a couple of announcements. We want to let you know that the window has opened. If you want to or are interested in completing a choices application, right? To select a program for your child, a magnet, a permits for transportation, dual language, schools for advanced studies, admissions criteria schools, and others. You may visit the Unified Enrollment website so that you can, again, look for that information. If you don't know, you have questions about this, again, reach out to your school, reach out to us, we can further support you. And additional announcements are that this is February, Black History Month, and to celebrate, Local District Central wants you to celebrate with us. We have a few events, 14th, the 15th, and the 19th of February. You will be seeing this information posted in your school websites. Your schools will be letting you know about these events that we're having for you. In the meantime, we want to invite you for Monday, February 14th, when Dr. McKenna will be from Board Member District 1, will have a presentation, a town hall for us. So we invite you. You will be receiving this information and the invitations. Ms. Arreguin most likely will send you that text message, right? So you can join us at that moment, like she does every Wednesday for Tech Talks and more. So we hope that you can also join us during these presentations that we have for you to celebrate Black History Month. And with that, we want to end providing you our contact information for the PACE unit from Local District Central. You heard from our administrator, Ms. Arreguin, Teresa Arreguin. We have our community reps ready to support you during the day. And each one of us, your parent educator coaches assigned to different communities of schools are ready to help you. You have our contact information. We are down one right now, or two or three, but soon any one of us is available to support you should you need to. So we so much appreciate your being here today. And I will not say anything more because I know that we are over time, and we appreciate our interpreter who is still here with us, I assume. Thank you so much. So again, have a wonderful afternoon, and we will see you soon next week. There won't be a Tech Talks, but there will be a different event that we will inform you about soon. Okay, but again, we expect you next Wednesday afternoon. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Gracias a todos. Gracias, señora Ortiz, señora Lorza, Alex, Vilma. Excelente trabajo. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ortiz and Ms. Elorza.